Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are taking on a mission that I think pretty much everyone faces when they decide to get serious about photography. We're moving beyond the smartphone, we're stepping into the world of interchangeable lenses, and we're deep diving into the Canon RF ecosystem to settle a huge question for beginners. We've got two contenders. On one side, the super budget-friendly Canon R100, which you can find for around, what, $400?
Yeah, about $399 usually.
And on the other, its bigger sibling, the Canon R50, which jumps the price up to about $679.
So that's the big question, right? It's a $280 question. What does that extra money actually get you?
Exactly. What does that almost 70% price jump buy you in, real world shooting? We're going to walk you through it shot by shot.
What's so interesting here is how deliberate Canon was. These cameras came out within like 3 months of each other back in early 2023.
Right. It wasn't an accident.
Not at all. It was a clear strategy. The R100 is for the absolute beginner, the person who wants better quality than their phone, but they want simplicity. They want the lowest price possible.
Just casual photos, family events, that sort of thing.
Precisely. And the R50 is aimed squarely at the aspiring creator, the vlogger, the enthusiast who wants more speed, better tracking, all those modern features. They look similar, but they're built for totally different people.
Oh, let's unpack this then. Before we get into all the differences, we have to establish the single most important and I think the most liberating fact about this comparison.
Absolutely. This is the thing that should take away all the stress of making the wrong choice.
Which is?
They share the exact same sensor. The Canon R50 and the R100 both have the identical 24-megapixel APS-C CMOS sensor.
So the very core of the camera, the part that actually captures the light and makes the image, it's the same.
It is the same. Under the same conditions, with the same lens, they produce fundamentally equivalent image quality. Same resolution, same colors, same everything.
And that 24-megapixel count has really become the sweet spot for these kinds of cameras, hasn't it?
It really has. It's a perfect balance. You get enough detail to make beautiful, large prints, up to 20 by 30 inches easily.
But the files aren't so massive that your computer grinds to a halt trying to edit them.
Exactly. Which for a beginner is huge.
Yeah.
And because you're not cramming, say, 40 or 50 megapixels onto that sensor, the individual pixels are larger. They perform better in low light.
So you get that beautiful, high-quality look with the blurry background that people are looking for when they upgrade from a phone.
You get that foundation. So the decision isn't about which one takes a better picture.
Right. The quality is a given. The whole choice boils down to which camera makes it easier, faster, and just more fun to get that picture.
And that's where the $280 starts to make a lot of sense.
Let's start with the one thing you interact with on every single shot, the screen.
Okay, so with the R100, we're looking at a pretty classic entry-level display. It's a 3-inch LCD. It's sharp enough, but it's a fixed screen.
Meaning it doesn't move at all.
It's locked to the back of the camera. And it has no touch functionality.
Wow. Okay, so you're navigating everything with physical buttons and the D-pad.
Everything. Which, it's simple. You could even argue it's more durable, but it is so limiting for your creativity.
I've been there. You want that cool, low-angle shot of a flower or your pet, and you are literally lying down in the mud guessing at your composition.
You are. And forget about filming yourself. Vlogging, product reviews, it's essentially impossible. You have no idea if you're in focus or even in the frame.
Okay, so contrast that with the R50.
The R50 is the modern experience. It's a fully articulating touchscreen.
So it flips out to the side, it rotates forward.
All the way forward. And they bumped the resolution by over 50%, so it's much sharper and clearer. But the articulation and the touch control are the key.
That's what a smartphone user expects, right? Tap to focus, swipe to review.
It completely changes the workflow. It makes it faster, more intuitive. And for anyone who wants to create content, that flip screen isn't just a nice to have.
It's a requirement.
It's a fundamental requirement. The lack of one on the R100 is an instant deal breaker for any vlogger.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting, though, because now we move past the outside of the camera and into the engine, the speed, the autofocus, the performance gap.
This is where you see a huge jump. The autofocus is the perfect example. The R100 has a good, solid system. 143 focus points, pretty standard face, and eye detection for humans.
So for a portrait of a person standing still, it's fine.
It's perfectly fine. But the R50 is It's a whole other world. It uses an AI-powered autofocus system that's trickled down from their high-end cameras.
So you go from 143 focus points to, what is it?
651 focus points.
Whoa, that's more than 4 times the coverage. What does that actually mean in practice, though?
It means the camera is way less likely to hunt for focus. If your subject is small, or moving, or near the edge of the frame, the R50 just locks on, instantly, confidently.
And it's not just more points, they're smarter points.
They're much smarter. This is the real game changer. The R50 has animal eye AF tracking.
So it can find the eye on a dog, a cat, even a bird.
Yes. It will lock onto that eye and track it as the animal runs around the park or flies through the air. It even has vehicle tracking for cars and motorcycles.
So if I'm trying to get that classic shot of my dog running towards me, mid-fetch, the R50 is actually looking for the dog's eye.
It's tracking the eye. The R100 is just looking for a general subject. The R50 turns the chaos of pet photography into something you could actually nail consistently. It's incredible.
And that speed carries over into just how many pictures you can take, right? The burst rate.
Right. The R100 it's moderate, about 6.5 frames per second.
Which is okay.
It's okay,
Mm-hmm.
but the R50 gets up to 15 frames per second with the electronic shutter.
15, that's more than double.
It means you can capture that split-second difference in an expression or the exact moment the bat hits the ball. It just gives you so many more options to choose from.
And it's not just frames per second, the shutter itself is faster.
Yep. The R50's electronic shutter can hit 1/8,000th of a second. The R100 tops out at 1/4,000th. That extra speed is crucial for freezing really fast action in bright sunlight.
But there's a feature on the R50 that sounds kind of niche, but I hear it's incredibly important. Anti-flicker detection.
Oh, it's a lifesaver. If you've ever shot indoors, under fluorescent lights, or in a gym.
You get those weird dark bands across your photos.
Exactly. Or the color just shifts from one shot to the next. That's because those lights are flickering faster than our eyes can see, but the camera sees it.
So what does the R50 do?
It detects the flicker, and it actually times the shutter release to only fire when the lights are at their peak brightness. It guarantees consistent exposure and color, shot after shot. If you plan to shoot any indoor sports, it's non-negotiable.
Okay, you said earlier that the sensors are identical, but the specs say the R50 has way better low-light performance. How does that work?
That is a great question. And it really comes down to the camera's brain, the processor. So the R100 has a native ISO that goes up to 12,800. The R50's native ISO goes all the way up to 32,000.
That's a huge jump, 150% higher.
It is. And it's because, while the sensor is capturing the same raw light data, the R50 has a newer, much more powerful processor that is way better at cleaning up the digital noise that you get at those high ISOs.
So it's not just capturing the light, it's making sense of it.
It's making it usable. The R50 literally opens up photos that the R100 just can't take without a flash. Think dimly lit concerts, night street photography. It's a massive advantage.
Now let's talk video, because for any hybrid shooter or vlogger, this is where the R100 seems to have some really frustrating walls built into it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. On paper, they both do 4K. They both do 120 frames per second slow motion, but the R100 has a 30-minute recording limit.
30 minutes per clip. That is so archaic.
It is. If you're recording a long interview or a speech, you have to constantly stop and restart. You're guaranteed to miss something.
And the R50.
The R50 just gets rid of the unlimited recording. You record until your battery dies or your card fills up. Simple.
As it should be.
And it records at a higher bit rate, which means the video file itself holds more information, which gives you more flexibility when you're editing and color grading.
The R50 also has a couple of very pro-sounding video features. The first is lens breathing correction. What even is lens breathing?
So it's a subtle thing you see in cheaper lenses. When you change focus from something close to something far away, the image seems to slightly zoom in or out.
I've seen that. It looks really distracting.
It looks amateurish. The R50 knows it's happening, and it digitally corrects for it in real time, making your focus pulls look perfectly smooth and professional. It's a small detail that makes a huge difference.
That's a serious quality of life upgrade. And then there are these advanced still photography features that the R50 has that the R100 just doesn't, like focus stacking.
Yeah, focus stacking is a huge one for anyone interested in macro or product photography.
So like tiny insects or watches.
Exactly. With those subjects, your depth of field is razor thin. Maybe only the eye of the insect is in focus.
Right.
The R50 can automatically take a whole series of photos, moving the focus point just a tiny bit each time, and then it merges them all together in the camera into one photo where the entire subject is perfectly sharp.
Wow, and on the R100, you'd have to do that all manually on a computer with special software.
If you could even get the shots right in the first place.
Yeah.
It automates a very technical process. Same with its exposure bracketing. The R50 can bracket ±5 stops.
Which is huge for HDR photos of, like, a sunset.
Way better for high contrast scenes.
Yeah.
The R100 only does ±2.
And finally, there's this one mode that just screams, YouTube reviewer, product showcase mode.
Oh yeah, this is pure content creator gold. You know when a reviewer holds a product up to the camera.
Yeah, and the focus needs to snap from their face to the product and then back again.
Product showcase mode does that flawlessly, automatically. Sure. It overrides the face tracking to prioritize whatever object you hold up. It makes that whole process seamless.
Okay, so we've run through all the tech. Let's put it into practice. Let's talk about specific genres of photography and who wins.
Let's do it. For content creation, vlogging, tutorials, anything like that, it's not even a contest. The R50 is mandatory.
The flip screen, unlimited video, the showcase mode, it's a no-brainer.
Absolutely. Then for wildlife and pets, again, the R50 just dominates because of that animal IAF. Your hit rate on moving animals will be so much higher.
And for sports and action?
R50 is strongly preferred. The 15 frames per second, the faster shutter, and that anti-flicker detection for indoor arenas. You'll just get more keepers.
But there is a category where they're basically tied, right?
Yes. For portraiture or just general everyday photos of your family and friends, they square almost equally high.
Because the subjects are usually cooperating and the core image quality from that sensor is identical.
Exactly. The R100's basic face detection is perfectly fine for that. You wouldn't be gaining much by spending more for the R50 in that specific scenario.
So here's the final decision framework. Let's boil it down. Choose the Canon R100
If your budget is the absolute #1 priority, if you're shooting casual family photos, and if you value simplicity above all else, you get that amazing RF image quality for the lowest possible price.
And choose the Canon R50 if.
If you have any plans for video content, if you shoot fast-moving things like pets or sports, if you often shoot in challenging low light, or if you actually want to learn advanced techniques like focus stacking.
It's the camera that you can grow into.
That's the perfect way to say it. It future-proofs your purchase because it has tools that will still be relevant as your skills improve.
And I think it's important to remember, both use the Canon RF mount, so any expensive lenses you buy are safe. You can start with an R100 body and upgrade later without losing your glass.
That's the beauty of the system. The R100 gives you the core excellence. The R50 gives you the tools that expand what you can even attempt to shoot. It's a camera built for ambition.
So what does this all mean? It really comes down to how much you value your success rate, especially when things get difficult.
And that leaves a final provocative thought for you to consider as you make your choice. If a feature, like Animal IAF or the articulating screen, is the one thing that allows you to capture a once-in-a-lifetime moment that you would have otherwise missed,
Is that feature still a luxury?
or does it become an essential part of your creative success? How much is that perfect, unmissed moment worth to you?